I'm so excited to have Nicole Sodoma as my special guest tonight, leading law practice attorney. And you were saying a divorce on a really bad day, family law on a really good day.
Right.
Yes, I love
Same
that,
thing.
Nicole.
Family law attorney or divorce attorney, depending on what kind of day you're having.
I love that. And you are a badass. You are one of the leading in the whole country. So we're so excited to have you on the set tonight. And you have written a book, as I met you at a chance meeting, and you wrote a book that's not only for those women or men that are experiencing divorce, because you represent each, correct? More males than females.
Right.
But something that helped you along the way. Can you tell us a little more about that, Nicole?
All right. So when's the last time you sat at a table full of happily married people and you asked them what would happen if their partner came home one night and decided they didn't want to be married to you anymore? That is a lot of time, the dinner conversation. I'm not that much fun to have dinner with, I guess, but this is what I'm thinking. Like if I'm sitting, like I love the idea of marriage, and in the book we titled it A Perspective from a Marriage-Loving Divorce Attorney, because I do love the idea of marriage. And in my 20-something year law practice, focusing on family law or divorce, I have also put together quite a few couples, you know, whether I scare them back into being together or whether they genuinely want to give it a shot. It's really important to me that everyone that comes in to see me understood that there was a choice, right?
Right.
So, so I had all these different perspectives. A pretty normal perspective. I was a kid of divorce, not so unusual. I was a divorce lawyer. I'm a divorce lawyer, 20-something years. And so, and then all of a sudden I got divorced. And I wasn't expecting to get divorced. It happened. I say I spontaneously combusted. But what I learned through that process and all these perspectives was that there were all these things my clients weren't telling me, and there were all these things that I could have been telling my clients.
Right.
So, so that is a little bit on how the book started. It originally was supposed to be, I had dreamed of it being a funny bathroom book.
Right.
Before we took Instagram to the bathroom with us. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that.
Sure,
but,
say whatever you want.
But, you know, I wanted the 30 ways that you could stay married.
Right.
30 things not to do if you want to stay married. And what happened was, as I was developing these 30 points, I met with my co-author, and she said, oh my gosh, there's so much more there's so much more to the story that you can tell. So that was my goal. So I divided it into 3 parts. The first part is about how to stay married.
But first, let's hold that thought.
Okay.
But
I get so
the
excited.
name of the book is
Right.
Don't Say You're Sorry, right? Please don't say you're sorry in a broken glass. So
Yes.
get back to because it's like, that's important to know that was the whole theme behind it. Like, just don't say you're sorry. We're going to deal with this. Like, this is what I'm dealing with right now. And then you led them into go to your next thought. Sorry.
Right. So it started with marriage. The second section is about separation, and the last section is about divorce. And along the way, at the end of each chapter, there are questions. And I've learned since I've written it that some people are taking those questions and bringing those questions to their partner. They're using them in journaling and groups. Leadership groups are using those questions throughout. So I love what it has become. Mm-hmm. And it was released in June of this past year. So we right after it came out, it was really overwhelming and exciting. I took a break for a minute, and now we're geared back up and on the road with it. And it's just been, you know, this is going to sound, I don't know, this is probably going to sound a little cheesy, but when I get up in the morning, the thing that makes me tick is to lift someone up and to leave them better than I found them. And it seems to me that there's so many things that I was able to share in the book that I feel like if you do have an opportunity to pick it up, you are going to ask yourself those hard questions, even if you didn't expect them.
Right.
So when you're sitting at this dinner table and someone at a dinner table says, what happens if your spouse comes home one day and says they don't be married to you? I remind you that it takes 2 people to say I do and 1 to say I don't. Mm-hmm. And if you are not prepared for that, then shame on you. Like, it's okay to be in love. It's okay to be in companion, in marriage. But do it in a way that makes sense for both of you.
Right.
And be prepared, because something could happen. We don't want it to happen. we buy insurance with the hopes that we never have to use it. But the reality is that there is a possibility, and we should be prepared for it.
There's a 50%
There's a 50% possibility that something is going to happen, and you should be prepared for it.
But what I love is that you are a leading divorce attorney, and you did know the ins and outs of it. However, there were a few things that you reflected on when you were going through your own divorce. But what I also like about the book is that it's really not just for those that are entertaining the idea of a divorce. It's a workbook. It's like you said, it's, check the list, read it, read each chapter, because each chapter is divided into something great. And it could be something that perhaps prevents a divorce, so you don't think of a book like this as something that could be preventative, but it can.
Well, for those who pick it up who have already been divorced, they will probably find some clarity in knowing that they were not alone.
Right.
Right? But that is actually not who I was targeting. You're exactly right. I want people who are not considering divorce to pick it up. I want people who don't know what to say to someone who's getting divorced to pick it up, because everybody knows someone who's getting divorced. I want, when you hear somebody's getting divorced, I want them to send this book to them, and not because I'm trying to sell the book, but because it's a better way to know. It's maybe there's an opportunity. In the first section, there are great resources and webinars and references to great marriage therapy, marriage therapists, and offsites. I mean, it's just
it's a book of tools.
It should be.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the top questions that you would advise our viewers out there that are ready to experience a divorce. All of that when we come back. And now we're back with the famous Nicole Sodoma. We were talking as we went to break with your book and dealing with divorce. What are a couple tips you would give women that are entertaining, or men, entertaining the idea of perhaps just gravitating towards the divorce? They're reading your book, they're thinking, should I do it? Should I not do it? What are the 3 takeaways that you would say, think about these 3 things before you cross that line?
Okay, I'm going to answer with 1 first, and then I'm going to ask you what the worst advice you ever received when you went through a divorce. Okay, so my first advice would be, if you're thinking about it, to educate yourself on what it looks like on the other side. Educate yourself what the process is going to look like and what you're going to need to know in order to make really good decisions, because those decisions are not going to be just about you, but it's going to impact possibly a family and maybe work and maybe a job that you don't have, right?
Right.
So know what that looks like on the other side, and don't be afraid to ask the questions. I would probably stay away from online. I probably would have face-to-face conversations with people that you trust. The second thing is, if you are thinking about going through divorce, I just recently was listening to a podcast, and one of the things that the therapist recommended was go home and ask your partner to switch roles with you. Do it for like 3 or 6 months and see how it works out. So, and the reality is when you separate, guess what? You're going to have both roles.
Right.
So know what that feels like and see if it saves your marriage. See if it helps you understand your partner better. Like, and a simple example is if, like in my, I was in charge of the inside, he was in charge of the outside. Somebody's in charge of the bills, somebody's in charge of the doctor's appointments. Like, somebody's in charge of vacation planning, somebody's in charge of, you get my idea,
exactly,
right?
Absolutely.
Switch roles and see how successful you are when you switch roles. Maybe that's a way to respect each other. Maybe my favorite idea is this mutual exchange of energy where we both now either understand each other or we're on a more level playing field to have real conversations. We know how to have conflict now, because if somebody's doing it differently than you wanted them to do it, like, talk about a game changer. If your marriage isn't going to work, like I said, you're going to end up having both roles anyway. So it just seems like a win-win. And hopefully you don't end up in that place.
Exactly. That is the most unique advice I have ever experienced, because it is true. Because you do have to do dual roles,
Right.
because there's no one there changing your light bulbs. There's no one there to do all the things that the reverse role did. So, and then you have to, exchange that with them. So you're exactly right. You don't think about that. It's like a light bulb moment.
It's true. And my leaf blower means a lot to me. It was I love my leaf blower. It was my first outdoor tool that I bought, if I call it a tool. But I mean, I learned some things. I didn't research enough, but I do enjoy my leaf blower. And I think I was the envy of the neighborhood, really.
Right.
When I came out with my leaf blower.
You're like, I got this. I got this.
That's right.
But it is like really a big picture when you look at it, and you have to chisel it down to all the parts that are moving when you're experiencing a divorce.
Yes.
And it's like things that you don't think of. And that's where, when you're the expert and you're advising, but the book sets the pace for that. You can read through all of these moments and the experiences before. I think it's a tool before you even start moving towards the divorce, I really think.
Well, I think,
Is that
I did not know that I was going to experience a fog. Like, I cannot tell you, really, there were days that I cannot remember. And so, be willing to give yourself a break, have some compassion for yourself, especially if you're a parent, if you're employed, if you own a business, if you're just getting into the work industry. There's so many things that you get to think about, and you get to choose, right? So I think it's really easy to fall into this victim category. I hear the word victim a lot. When I experienced it, one of the reasons why I did not want anybody to say they were sorry was because it made me then feel sorry for myself. And I did not want to wake up in the morning and feel like a victim. And so it changes your perspective. So whether you're the one who decides to not be married anymore, or whether you're the one where the decision has been made for you, you get to choose what it looks like. And even if it feels like hell, like, you still get to make that choice to wake up every day and take it and learn from it and make a better version. And you're the only one in your way. So,
and I have to say too, no matter what you experience, it's better than the alternative, and you will get through it. And so a lot of people, you're in that moment and you never thought you would be there, whether it was your choice or not. But you do get over it, and it makes you stronger for who you are. One of the things I really loved about you is that you lift up other women. You're very empowering. And on our show, we love to have women that lift each other up, women that, find the best in each other, and that I want you to shine. And, our team members here want women and men that make a difference in the community. And you didn't have to write a book. You're, very successful in what you are currently doing and adding practices in every other state. But you did because you wanted to give back. You wanted to give back to a community. You wanted something that helped you, things that you didn't know. You wish you had a book like this to read that when you were experiencing your divorce. But this book can, help other people and do it for years and generations. And what a wonderful legacy to leave behind.
Thanks. It's scary. It's really scary. And I would just say, like, it's going to be really easy to dig your head in the sand and to pretend that everything around you is not happening.
Right.
But, it can be so much better. And I know that sounds really easy to say, but you have to trust yourself. And you have to trust those around you. And that can be really daunting, but you got this.
Right, you do. So thank you so much for stopping by the set tonight. You were amazing. I know this is going to be the first of many books. It's going to be a series. And you were just so empowering and amazing. And I really appreciate all that you do for our community, all that you're doing for women, lifting each other up. And we just want to see your light shine, forever. So thanks, Nicole.
Back at you, Debra Kennedy.
Aww. So we love Nicole and those women that lift each other up. And it's really whatever we're going through, even though you think at the moment it's a struggle, it's not. You will get through it. You will get to the other side. But please don't say you're sorry. Say it's an adventure and you're going to make it.